In the backyard again today. If you guys watched yesterday's video, I was quite a few difficult movements with pretty heavy weight, and so at least right now I'm feeling like a little sore, and I want to start off with some flowy movements to get the endorphins going, something that's not too heavy, that I can still perform, that's still relatively difficult. Yeah, just to get the blood flowing, get the endorphins going so that things feel good. So yeah, starting off with the 25-pound kettlebell, I'm going to do a lateral, a tactical clean, then do an internal rotation, and do a shoulder press. Internal rotation, shoulder press. I'm going to repeat this 5 times. And then on the fifth, I think this was 5. Let me just do one more. Then on the 5th rep, which may have been the 6th, but whatever, going to do a lateral tactical clean to switch hands. And repeat the sequence. And repeat it again on both sides. So, one thing I want you guys to pay attention to is each time I'm doing that internal rotation, I'm turning a little bit this way, and also while doing the shoulder press, I'm rotating my body to the opposite side. So if I'm pressing with the left hand, I'm turning towards the right. And even while dropping the weight, I'm like first turning into the direction I'm going to drop it. And during the tactical clean, I'm rotating outwards, pushing it out, and then coming to the other side. All these little things, as far as these slight rotations, get you acclimated into using the rotational aspect of your body. And there's a lot of strength and mobility and athleticism to be gained from being able to use that. I think traditional training emphasizes too much on being like rigid. So for example, if you're doing like a press, it's like core tight, everything tight, and then straight. But there's a lot more to that. Like your body is able to generate a lot more output with like twisting and rotating and stuff. But yeah, just a little pointer over there. And then for the second movement, doing steel mace 360 to mill and repeat. I'm going to do this 10 times on each side. Switching sides. And with the steel mace, 360s and mills too, like on each rep I'm performing like a motion that's like this, that requires the wrists to work like this and like this, like internal rotation, external rotation. Yeah. And what that ends up doing is like your forearms are not just responsible for like reverse wrist curls and these wrist curls, it can also rotate. And doing all this helps train the muscles involved in wrist rotation, along with the shoulders, core, and everything like that. So yeah, I think doing these movements help train muscles that are otherwise forgotten, so to speak, in traditional training. And by traditional I mean like bodybuilding training. And yeah, also like these slight rotations of like pressing with the angle and with rotation teaches you how to use your body in, I would say, more athletic ways. And the reason I say that is, like, in any, like, for example, I go back to this quite a bit. Like when you're punching, if you notice, there's like a good strong punch, usually there's like a leg rotation, there's a coiling of one side, and then just like there's a lot more to it than just extending your arm. Like your whole body rotates. And so with that shoulder press earlier, you're doing that, so kind of like getting used to that motion of rotating, coiling one side and exploding with the other side. In any case, that was my fourth set. Going to do one more and then let's see what happens. So for the next set of movements, so I'm kind of building off the previous kettlebell exercise, but using both of my 35-pound kettlebells instead. Let me get closer to me as well. This is going to be part of the second exercise that I do. Okay, so with this, I hope I'm not cutting myself out. Let me step farther just to be a little safer. Okay, so starting off with a clean, then the internal rotation that I was doing before, shoulder press, internal rotation with the other hand, shoulder press, clean, and repeat. I understand that on the first rep I did the rotation first, then the press, and then every subsequent rep was the other way around, but either way works. Then with my 50-pound kettlebell, so I've usually done this move with my 25-pound kettlebell, where it's like a side-to-side rotational swing. With the 50, it becomes a lot more of a taxing movement. So yeah, looks like this. So after 10 each side of that, with my steel mace, I'm going to do a single hand 360 to a mill to a switch hand and repeat for 10 each side. Between all of these exercises and even the first superset, there's a lot of rotational work at play, and like with all these movements where they're shifting weight from side to side, like there's a lot of like internal work that your body is doing to like shift the center of balance, which is like to tighten certain muscles, loosen up certain muscles so that you're able to perform that movement like correctly. And that requires a lot of different kinds of muscles to work together, like your obliques, your abs and stuff like that. And I think getting good at being able to shift your weight efficiently helps with long-term, just helps with mobility in general, as far as like to be able to walk better, run faster, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is what I'm doing for now. Let's see what happens next. So for the next bit of things, decided to do something more mobility-esque. Using my 50-pound kettlebell to do this combination exercise for targeting adductor mobility. So I'm going to keep one leg on an elevated surface pointed out like 90 degrees. So if this leg is facing straight, this one should be like 90 degrees to it, but at a wide angle. I want this leg to be slightly ahead of the back leg, and I'm going to hold my kettlebell. I'm using 50 pounds, like with both hands. And so first I'm going to sit into the back leg and try to feel a stretch in the groin, come up, and then keep the back leg straight, so I'm getting that on the heel, and deadlifting. So as I'm deadlifting, I'm bringing the weight down at an angle really close to the front foot. That should stretch out the groin and the hamstrings a little, and then repeat that sequence 5 times. Feeling a really good stretch in the adductors. After 5, switching sides. With these kinds of exercises, I really like to perform them slow and then take my time feeling the stretches. And then notice how far my legs have to be and stuff compared to the other leg. Like which side's more mobile. If there are any imbalances as far as tightness and comfort of movement. And then finishing off with Jefferson curls. So standing on the step and have the kettlebell down. Going to reach down to the side of the kettlebells, or to the side of the kettlebell, so that I can get like a more complete stretch. So it looks like this. It's kind of the same action as you would go into it to touch your toes. So this is touching the toes. Instead, I'm grabbing the side and I'm going to do this for 8. Rounding your spine isn't a bad thing as long as you're not going super heavy. And the idea is to get your back strengthened while being in a rounded position. You'll feel this a lot in your lower back and hamstrings. So yeah, that's what I'm doing for now. And yeah, let's see what happens next. Might do some juggling. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it's been a while since I've had juggling and chat session in a video, a couple of days at least. So thought I'd throw one in today. I've been not juggling for a few days for no particular reason, except I've been doing plenty outside of that. And then by the time it comes to the end of the workout, I'm already pretty exhausted and I've burned a ton of calories. That being said, juggling is still something I enjoy, and it's a skill that I want to keep getting better at, though I haven't tried to learn any new moves in a while. In any case, yeah, let's just get to the first sequence. Just wanted to start off in a new way. Usually I always start off with a double front flip. Wanted to start off with something new, but let's still start with something new. At least that broke the norm a little bit as far as what my usual sequencing is like. I kind of wanted to stick to somewhat of a rotational theme that's been taking place in today's video, where it's side to side movements. Alright. See, one of the things is, like, after a lot of these workouts, my biceps are really sore, but I never really do too many curls. And so, it's kind of interesting that you don't necessarily need these focused exercises like curls or different variations of curls to target the bicep. The bicep gets worked a lot within the Steel Mace 360. I didn't do any pull-ups today, but within pull-ups and stuff like that. So yeah, I think there's something to be learned there, where you don't necessarily have to, I don't know, I think people have this mentality where if you're not doing what's called a back exercise, you're not necessarily working back. If you're not doing what's called a chest exercise, you're not necessarily working chest. But there are a lot of movements in which those muscles do come into play, and you can still work those muscles quite a bit within those other compound movements. Spun it too hard. I was kind of liking the sequencing with that too, just because it was a break from the norm. So the way my body usually just tends to work on instinct is each time it flips forward, figure eight, which is just going under the leg. And I want to break that conditioning that's taken place in my head so that I can flow in a variety of more different ways. Ah, come on. Ah, silly drop. Silly drop. I was liking that sequence too. Oh well. Oh well. I noticed I was going a little bit that way. I hope all of this was being recorded adequately. Wow, not bad, still not bad. I still feel like there was a lot of sequencing in there, but that was stuff that I'm usually don't do. And as long as that's the case, I'm happy with today's session. The angle wasn't that bad, but like I'm kind of denting the surface over here with all the drops that I do. And so I wanted to move around so that I can just even out the ground a little bit. And the angle wasn't that bad, but I think I'll be more centered now. Threw it off. Ah, that was good. I thought that was a nice one. There's some noise over there. Could be a raccoon or a cat. Or a squirrel. As usual, kettlebell juggling, rapid calorie burner. Heart rate's at 168. Aiming for like 1,000 calories burnt before I call this session off. Whatever. Woo. Word. That was another good sequence. Alright, I think I'm gonna end it there. I'm at 930 calories burned. I'm just gonna mess around randomly with some stuff. With the steel mace, just play around. I think if I put it on video, it might just get long and boring. But if you guys think otherwise, leave it in the comments and I'll start recording more of my, I guess, brainstorming, play around sessions. If that is something you guys want to see. In any case, that's it for today's video. See you all tomorrow.